So here's the recipe that I printed online. Like I said, I'll link it below. But here are my beans, and they cooked, and they're mushy and great. They're definitely well cooked. So what we do with that is we're going to add in some tamari. Now I'm doing 2.5 times. It takes 1 tablespoon for the 2 wraps. That's what the recipe calls for. So I'm going to do 2.5 tablespoons of tamari. Okay, so here's my beans. I've got it on medium heat. I've added the tamari, mixed it in, and now it says to cook for until the liquid has cooked away. Once it has, then you add vinegar, and again it's 1 tablespoon of white balsamic vinegar. So I'll use 2.5 tablespoons, and you continue cooking until that has cooked away, that liquid. Then you remove the beans from the heat and mash it with a fork, which I'll just use a potato masher, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I don't see much liquid, so I'm going to call that cooked off. And I'm going to add in my vinegar now. And we'll continue cooking that until the vinegar cooks off. Then you're done with that. So in the meantime, it says to mash up your avocados in a large bowl. So that's what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to use 5 avocados. So for anybody who's unfamiliar with avocados, just in case, I'll show you how I get the pit out. I just stab it and give a little twist, and it pops right out. So I just cut my avocados in half, obviously around the pit, then take the pit out and you're good. Okay, so here it is mashed up. Now we just add in the beans that we had, mash them up again, and we add some spices. I'll show you in a sec. Okay, so there's that mixed up. And now we add the lemon juice. It actually calls for lime juice, but I only have lemon. So it calls for 2 tablespoons, so I'm going to add 5. Okay, so the other spices it calls for, or the spices I should say that it calls for, are garlic, onion powder, smoked paprika, sea salt, you'll just have to take my word for it, and it says fresh ground black pepper, but I don't have any of that right now, so we're just going to use this already ground up one. You might be. So here it is with the spices in there, all except for salt and pepper. You save that for later. And then it calls for 2 tablespoons of parsley or cilantro, whichever you prefer. So we went with cilantro. So I need 5, so I'm just calling that 5. I'll give it a rinse. Give it a chop with my handy herb scissors. Okay, here it is all mixed up, and I have to say, this is smelling really good. I'm really looking forward to this. And by the way, if you don't have these shears and you do a lot of herbs, and you've been thinking about it, I highly recommend them. I love them. Okay, the only thing that it asked for that I didn't add was green chilies, because we don't like them in this house. So now is when you add your salt and your pepper. And I'm literally just going to add just a pinch of salt. Itty bitty, maybe another one. Because it is a big batch. I mean, literally it's just that much on my finger. And I'll just sort of add some pepper in. And we'll leave it like that. Okay, so it calls for Roma tomatoes, but I don't have Romas, so I'm just going to use these. And I'm to thinly slice them. And then I'll just cut them in half, because probably that's why they want Romas, is just because they're tinier. Okay, we're ready for assembly. So here's my wrap, and I'm just using a Dempster's White Original. I have tried Ezekiel, I've tried every kind. They're dry, they're crumbly, they just don't work. And here's our avocado bean mix. It's a little funky color, that's because the avocado has been exposed to the air. We have some spinach and some tomatoes. Alright, here we go. of spinach. And then you're supposed to be able to roll this up. So I'll just try to hold everything in place while I roll. Alright. Just leave that like that. Cut it into 3 or 4 sections. Okay, well I overachieved the cutting. Alright. Okay, here's my finished product. It looks pretty. Some fries to go with it. Here's the wee keys portion. She absolutely loves taters. She is a McDougler for sure. Okay, here's my taste test. That's good. Definitely good. Definitely recommend it.
Now you gotta take another shot.
Okay, I'm gonna try the mixture on kiwi. I've tried avocado before. She likes it. I've tried white beans. She likes that. And I actually did give her a little bit of cilantro the other day, and she seemed okay with that. So this is her honest reaction. No yucky face. Looking like a happy customer. So the wraps were good. I really liked them. But my husband found them just a little bit harsher than sweeter. He thought they needed something just a little to sweeten it up a little bit. So we just added some plum sauce. Just a little drizzle, teeny little bit. And I'm going to try that now. Hey guys, so I thought I'd give some afterthoughts on that recipe. The recipe called for a can of green chilies. And I didn't add that. So that obviously is going to change the flavor of the whole thing quite a bit. If you want to try it with that, let me know. And the other thing I was thinking, you could also substitute for like crushed chili flakes. That might put the heat in there that they're looking for. And the other thing it asks for is, rather than obviously the wraps that I used, which are not the healthy ones, it says to use lavish wraps, not sure what that is, or large wheat tortillas, so that could also change the flavor. So let's see, I'm just going through, oh, and lime juice instead of lemon. And then there's always parsley instead of cilantro, so there's a lot of different variations to this that you could try. Now, we were thinking a little bit sweeter would be nicer, so we added plum sauce. But you could also, if you want to keep it whole foods, you could either use maple syrup, a little bit of that, or I was thinking you could put in chopped up grapes. That's always a nice addition to sweeten things up. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. I wanted to mention, and I almost forgot, is that I would have been better off if I would have just made the recipe the size that it was intended to be, or maybe half more. That's it. I made it 2.5 times, but I think it would be a far better meal to do it, not like having that as a part of the meal, but not the whole meal. I was kind of thinking of it as burritos, and it's just a little different than that. So, better off to just have 1 or 1.5 of those wraps, and then a side of fries or rice or vegetables, whatever tickles your fancy. Okay. If you guys do try this recipe, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it, whether you liked it or not, and what changes you made to it.